I did a youth sports study examining all of the things that make playing sports fun for kids. And the results of the study are pretty significant because the number one reason that kids cite for dropping out of sport is that it's not fun anymore. And we lose as many as 70%, it's been estimated, of kids that drop out of sport by the age of 13. Our study is unique because we engaged players, parents, and coaches using a mixed method concept mapping research study design. And what we did is we engaged them in the development of a series of fun maps. So the maps end up being navigational blueprints that the youth sport community can use in order to infuse more fun into the youth sport experience. So our data indicated that there were 81 specific determinants of fun. And those 81 determinants then fall into 11 different larger, big sort of fun factors, if you will. And so the most important of those 11 fun factors were being a good sport, trying hard, and positive coaching. One of the most surprising things that came out of the data is where winning ended up being rated relative to all of the 81 other fun things. Because when you share that particular data with parents and even with coaches, they're surprised that it ranks so far down on the list of 81 things. So the idea that there can be 47 other things that are really more important to children when it comes to fostering a fun environment, that's really what they sort of take away as, wow. Because in the youth sport culture today, we place such a great significance on winning. And in this environment where youth sport has become more and more professionalized over the years, there's also, particularly from the parents, and then they may even hear from the children as well, I have to have the latest, sports gear, the newest this, and it has to be this brand. And while those things do contribute to some degree to the fun experience, they're not the most important things. And so this is really helpful in that the data really gives light to the fact that when it comes to creating a culture of fun, it's really about the process of learning, the process of playing, rather than materialistic or ostentatious things like, swag and getting medals and trophies, things that a lot of times I think adults tend to place greater emphasis on than the children do themselves. Absolutely. The findings of our study can be used and are directly applicable to the practice fields and the game fields. So coaches, parents, league administrators can take the different series of fun maps that the data generated, and they can use them as navigational beacons, if you will, for what to do and maybe even what not to do. So for coaches alone, positive coaching was defined by 12 very specific determinants of fun. So coaches can take those 12 determinants and they can infuse them into their practice plans and things like that. When it comes to parents alone, their determinants of fun for children were defined by 5 specific things. So those are things that during games, because those 5 determinants fell into game time support, moms and dads of America now know that those are 5 specific things that they can focus on when watching their children play. The findings of our study have huge public health implications because sport participation can be thought of as a healthy public health practice. And that simply means that through sport participation, children have the opportunity to derive a huge host of human capital gains. So, for example, when it comes to being physically active through sport, children have a lower likelihood of overweight and obesity if they are engaged in youth sport. When it comes to mental health, they also experience less depression and anxiety as well. When it comes to academic performance, children that play sport tend to perform better in the classroom. Later in life as well, they also tend to have greater financial earning potential. So in the end, it becomes about how do we keep children engaged in sport in childhood and throughout adolescence so that they have these huge public health benefits to gain. So in our study, the first of the study activities was brainstorming. And this is when the youth soccer community identified all of the things that make playing sports fun for kids. And while their immediate reference might have been soccer, we asked them to think about when they play football, when they play basketball, when they're swimming on their swim team, any of the sports that they've been playing, to identify all of the things. Because it was important to us that the findings of the study be generalizable across all team sports and not necessarily soccer specific.